Welcome back, and good evening, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. This is my first major update for quite some time. I'm going to enjoy this one. So, if you've been paying attention, especially if you live in the UK or America, Minnesota, New York, or Texas, specifically, you will have noticed the sudden spike in domestic terrorism and the arguments in politics leading to social unrest and rioting in many places. In America, they've been rolling out what kind of looks a bit like martial law. In many places, the US Marshals and the associated sort of militarized police forces have been out in America trying to keep order and remove criminality, get rid of the illegal immigrants, with some success, I may add. Something we should do here. But what's happening here is people are protesting in large numbers against Keir Starmer and his communist government, and the fact that the king and the government are openly supporting the rights of Islam, a murderous jihadi-led death cult, over the rights of the people of Britain and their equality, their human rights. So this has caused some problems. The other thing you may notice is I used to have a feudal Chinese flag here, a yellow flag with a dragon on it, which I've now replaced with an Australian flag. The reason I've taken that down, and I have been predicting this for some time, is China is falling. China is on its last legs now, and is about to have an enforced regime change away from Xi Jinping, who is now one of the most hated men in the country by his own party. They're trying to get rid of him. And they are about to have a military coup, which is when the military forcibly take over the government and gets rid of all the people from the previous regime, and then takes over the running of the country with their image, with their rules. And that means China is now going to be facing a huge downturn. It's been bad enough as it is. They've had many floods, they've had many terrorist actions from Chinese guys trying to fight the government of Xi Jinping. And things are about to get a lot worse. So I feel like we're not far away now from China's last gambit, attacking who they perceive as the causes of their problems. You know, Britain, America, and Israel is who they blame. That's the government telling the Chinese people that, so that's who they're going to be attacking. And in order that they can do this attack without anyone knowing, they are going to be funding directly Syria, Iran, and Palestine goons in this country and in America to further the terrorist cause of Islam, of the jihad. And that means in the next few months we are going to be directly affected by this, whether we like to admit it or not. This is happening, so we're going to have to be smart about what we do in preparation for this, both in terms of physical preparation, getting our houses, our stores and ourselves physically prepared for this, and also spiritual and emotional preparation, because let me tell you, nice Mr. Government is not going to be coming to help you. The police, the armed forces, they are not going to be on your side. Politicians are not on your side, not even the ones you think, Reform and Nigel Farage, guys like this. These are sycophants and hypocrites and traitors, and they are not in your corner. None of these guys are in your corner. They use you and I for their own financial and political gain. and when the going gets tough and the shit hits the fan, they are going to be out of here back to America or some other safe country with all their lovely money that they made from us. So what are we going to do? That's this video. What are we going to do? Let's get it straight in our head what the plan is, what we can personally do, what we should be expecting and encouraging from our friends and family, how we are going to fight off this jihad, which is what this is, well supplied and supported by the Chinese communists in their last hurrah before this military coup hits them. That means little England, little Britain, us, and obviously elements of Europe and America as well, but we're not being told about those. The media don't report on the big protests and riots happening across those countries. There's some of America we do get to see, but largely these things are covered up. We are going to have to fend for ourselves, and that means physically preparing and spiritually preparing. Having a plan, not expecting that anybody is going to come to help us, and in fact knowing that the people who are entrusted with our care, the people who promise to come to our aid, the police, the government, the military, are going to be against us. We just have to accept this. Now, I've been saying this for enough years and people said I'm mad, I'm paranoid, I'm on drugs, I'm a religious crazy. Every single time I said this is happening, watch out, get ready for it, and no one got ready for it. In the end, they were punished for that. And where are my doubters now? When I said, I think Trump's going to win the election, but not until he gets shot at, they told me I was crazy. What happened? He got shot at. Then I said, there's going to be a war in Israel. It's going to bubble over to Syria and Iran, and then America are going to be dropping bombs. My closest friends in my Christian group said, no, there's no chance of that. You're wrong. It happened. Exactly as I predicted, from interpreting the Bible and just having a bit of discernment about politics. Then the latest thing I said, America and Britain are going to see waves of jihadi terrorism using dhimmi Westerners so that they're not going to be blamed on Islam. And we will know, and I did this in a video, that it is Islamic jihadis because they always do the same thing. They're not allowed to retreat and they're not allowed to surrender. So that means just before they get caught, they top themselves. And they use a false identity, usually a transgender identity, to cover up the fact that they were working directly for a mosque. And the media and the government, celebrities, are quite happy to churn out this propaganda to convince you all, nothing to see here, it's fine, there's no jihad, just everyone get back to work, keep your head down, and keep that tax money rolling in for us. So that's the prelude to what's going to be happening up ahead for the rest of this year. It's not far away. It will be happening this month, next month, November, December, January, have a little bit of a holiday during the Ramadan, February and March, and then back to business as usual at the end of March. And like I say, I always say the same thing, if you don't believe me, buy it and read it yourself. The Quran of the Muslims, the Reliance of the Traveller, which is the Sharia, that's where I know that that's the rule book for Muslims, that's how I know this stuff. So you've left it late if you want to read those things. It took me 2-3 years to get through all that stuff. That's why I'm telling you this now. But if you don't believe me, if you have any doubts at all over my factual accuracy on any of the things I'm going to say, buy it and read it yourself. I've done every single video with the evidence there, verse by verse reading and interpretation. That's the problem. If you want to know the answer, Holy Bible. I don't care if you're religious or not, doesn't matter whether you've got faith or not, these books contain the answers for you and your family to make sure you're safe. And I can guarantee you, if I wasn't reading these books and praying and doing the methodology that I found in the Holy Bible, I would myself be dead right now. That's a fact. There's no way I'd be saying these things to you with full conviction and courage when I know there's 1,000,001 jihadis out there who are constantly trying to take me down and kill me and ruin my work. But somehow I managed to stay ahead of them because of these. So, point 1. The jihad is happening here, now. It's a war of aggression from Islamic jihadi Muslims here in our country, America and also Europe. It is a stealth war, they're doing it behind our backs, and as soon as we turn around and say, are you at war with us? They say, no, we're a religion of peace, we're here to promote fairness, equality and justice. And then what they don't tell you is their versions of fairness, equality and justice, as we went through in the previous videos, is that you are a lesser species. You are not human unless you're a Muslim. Any kufir, unbelievers, are not considered equal in the eyes of Allah. Humans is only Muslims. Dirty, evil Western kufir devils are below. And because of this inequality, which is inherent in the religion of Islam, it creates forcible segregation between the Muslims and everybody else. Apostates, atheists, pagans, idolaters and demons is what they call us. So that's our group over there in their eyes. And the goal of the jihad is to supplant our freedoms, destroy our culture and our government, and install a Sharia Islamic-led government over the top. And the way that they describe it in their Quran is tilling the soil, breaking up the earth to remove whatever crop is in there and implant the seed of Allah. And if you have any doubts or questions as a Muslim, you are for the chop. And if you have any doubts or questions as a kufir, you are also for the chop, condemned. That's what they say. You are condemned. We're going to destroy this later, is what that means. Us being, the normal Westerners in our own country, them being the jihadi invading travellers who come here to wage war on us. So, like I say, the first thing you should do is prepare your mind with knowledge, read the Quran, read the Reliance of the Traveller, get used to the idea that even though these things are unbelievable, and your brain and your heart will be telling you this can't be true. This cannot be true. That's what your heart and brain will be telling you, the same as it did me. I didn't expect I was going to find these things. I just read them. Your heart and your brain will tell you this is too horrible to be true. There is no way a large amount of people could be convinced by this because it is evil. There is no way a large amount of people would do this and not feel guilty every day. That's what you'll think, but you'll be wrong. And the reason we know that you're wrong is because we see it happening every day and it is getting worse by the week. This started in 2000. We're now 25 years into stage 2 of the jihad, and we are seeing weekly terrorist attacks. We are seeing the worst governments we have ever had across Europe and Britain. Some say America as well. I tend to think Trump's doing a pretty good job from what I can see, but I'm not American, so I can't comment on that. And the reason why politicians are so hugely unpopular at the moment is because they now have to consider the 15% of the electorate is Muslims, and they will only vote for you or be happy if you suggest things out of the Quran as becoming for our law here. So that is things directly against you and I and our families. They have to support those things now or they won't get that block vote 15% of Muslims. So read the Quran, read the Reliance of the Traveller. If you can't be bothered or you don't have the time, I have 2 years of videos where I break down every single word of both those books. 178 episodes of Without Lies, Islam Dies. That's my main series. I do another series called Pearls and Swine, which is an interpretation of life outside of scripture relating to how Islam is invading our countries. That's another one. And I do a series called The Risks of Speaking Truth, which is about, if you're doing the work that I'm doing, how you negotiate that physical and emotional risk, because they will be attacking you every day to stop you, and you must carry on. So that's point 1. Point 2, how do you physically prepare yourself? Because this is no joke. This is a war. How to get this through to people, I have not quite figured out. But people don't understand. When I say this is a war, I'm not talking this is not an allegory. This is not an analogy. This is not like a story parable. This is a physical war. Imagine if you had guns and they had guns, you had armor, they had armor, you had a commander, they had a commander, and their commander said, "Kill them!" And then they started running at you. That is kind of how it is. The only difference is their commander is on the end of a telephone or a Facebook page, and you are not allowed to know because they're running up behind you, and it isn't a gun, it's a knife in the back. when you turn around and look at them, they will say, oh, we were just cleaning up behind you, or, they'll make some excuse. So prepare yourself physically. Get as physically fit as you can. Reduce your costs, because as we can see, and I predicted in many, many videos, the price of food's gone up, the price of medicines has gone up, benefits have gone down, earnings have gone down, opportunities are limited, and the scarce amount of resources that we have to pass around, we are now sharing with millions of immigrant Muslims, and more are arriving every single day. So the cost of life is up, the earning of life is down, and that is going to get worse. So stock up your cupboards, make sure you have everything you need as early as you can get it, and then lower your costs as much as you can. That means no more drinking, no more smoking weed or snorting coke or any of these stupid habits that we can do in peacetime. We are not in a peacetime now. And your country needs you, your family needs you. You need to be focused, or you're going to get swept away by this like so many others. And then the media will let you forget them by constantly going on about the Jews or Ukraine or Greta Thunberg or some other irrelevant political nonsense that does not involve you or your life. This country and your life is what should be in the front of your mind. And that means don't forget the things that are relevant to you, such as Carol Hill, I think her name was. Remember her a few years ago? Carol Hill, with her 3 daughters, and they all got murdered by a Muslim with a crossbow. How did they get murdered by a Muslim with a crossbow? Well, she had 3 daughters by this man, and he wanted them all to be Muslims, because that's what the jihad expects, is that when you impregnate a Western woman and have children, they are now slaves of Allah. That's obligation. But the mother, in her wisdom, said, no, I'm going to give my 3 daughters religious freedom because this is Britain. And they all chose not to be Muslim. But this was a great shame on the Muslim, so guess what he did? He killed them with a crossbow along with their mother, and is now in jail. But did he apologise for this? No. Did he show any remorse for this? No. Did his imam or his mosque decry this disgusting, despicable action? No. Because it is what Allah obligates and commands for all Muslims, and it qualifies every able-bodied man, woman or child of Islam must fight the jihad because it's the cause of Allah. That's the war that we're dealing with. So get yourself ready now. Make sure you know what you're talking about, because they will deny this and lie to you. They will try to twist your mind out of the knowledge of this so that your back is turned so they can stick the knife in it. That's how they generally work. And know that the media, the government, the police, the army, even your friends and family who have been propagandized are not going to be useful to you. You will have to become self-sufficient, or if you're anything like me, you will rely on Jesus Christ in your prayers and reading the Holy Scripture so that you can refresh yourself constantly and have courage, so that you can deal with the evil, you can look the evil in the eye and not have it stare into your soul and destroy you, because that's what will happen. And then over time we will see a victory, and we will beat these guys back and retake this country for us. This is our country. The freedoms that we enjoy, these are our rights. They have no right to come here under a false promise, a false pretense, so they can spread this horrible, disgusting, murderous doctrine of Islam, claiming while they do it to be our friends. We know they are not our friends. There is no such thing as a moderate Muslim. All there is the slaves of Allah. Now you tell me, if someone has slaves, whether those slaves are nice, polite people on the surface, are they going to tell their master no if the master commands them to attack you? Of course they're going to attack you, because that's the nature of slaves. And we did away with slavery in this country many years ago. In fact, Winston Churchill was one of the main people who took a force of soldiers across the world to defeat slavery in other countries for no reward, at a huge cost of blood and money from this country. England ended slavery in the main across the world. Britannia rules the waves. That's what that was. So why now are we allowing slaves to come here and dominate us? and say that we are the slave masters, we are the evil one. We need to wise up and we need to get ready now, and that's what this video is about. So I think I've made my point now. Please go back and watch the rest of my videos, and they are not always going to be the most interesting, right? This is not a flipping cartoon show. This is an information show and a survival prep channel. So the things that I'm going to be telling you are practical, how you can practically improve your physical, mental and spiritual health to be ready for these guys, how you can kit yourself and your house out to be prepared for what's going to happen up ahead, and more importantly, how you can stay in touch with Jesus. Now, like I say, it doesn't matter whether you believe. Belief can come later. You need to know something before you believe it or deny it, right? That's a fact. I don't care what religion or whether you're atheist or whatever. You cannot say to me that you don't believe that Jesus is going to save you if you don't know who Jesus is and you have no experience of reading the book that describes him. So that's what I'm going to say to you. Get prepared with knowledge, physical goods, prepare yourself, speak to your friends and neighbours, know who is going to be on side with you and who is clued up and has the discernment to know the police, government, military, they're not going to help you. Celebrities, media people and the media are not going to help you. It's going to be you, me and whatever other intelligent, caring people have the balls to actually declare this and turn around and face this stealth jihad. They will never admit to it. We can see that in the way that they behave. They lie, they deny, they make excuses, they sneak about in the shadows like a bunch of little rats, and all they have on their mind is tilling the soil for Allah, destroying our country and us, and we have to say no to it, and we have to say yes to standing as a nation against this evil and recovering the morality that gave us this great nation to begin with. Our parents, our grandparents, they may have let us down. I don't like to say that because I love my parents and my grandparents, but where we are now is their fault. They let us down by inviting this evil in and telling us that it was fine and equal to us and it was no threat to us, and at the same time depressing our spirit, our courage to fight them off. Forgive them that, because we need to concentrate on now. It doesn't matter whose fault it is that we got here. What matters is who is going to provide the solution in future to save this country, to give the freedom and the education and the safety that we enjoyed as children to the children of the future of this country, because that is how we will survive. Everyone over the age of 35 should know in their head, you, I, everyone over the age of 35, we might as well be dead already. What we do is for the future generations, so that they can grow up without Islamic brainwashing, so they can grow up without being told their gender is confused, they have to dress like the opposite gender and it's racist if they disagree, or perhaps that they're not allowed to vote, voting is bad, politics is bad, or that they're not allowed to believe in God, that they have to believe in Allah, or if they're an atheist they have to be a trans feminist political protester and also be okay with Islam. All these things are brainwashing tactics to lower the stock of the children of this country to make our country fall. That's what I can see, and we need to wise up and we need to fight with every single being, every single fibre of every single being. Every single word and thought needs to be, Britain needs to get back on its feet, and the only way that's going to happen is by you and I and everyone else who's got a clue accepting this most horrible truth, not looking back to blame our parents and grandparents, though it is their fault, looking forward with ourselves and the children of the next generation in mind, and stay focused on that. And God willing, we will fight this jihad and we will see its demise and take this great nation back for the people who it was given to by God, the British, us. This is our country. We are the British, and we feel no fear. Never forget that. This is our place, and it's up to us to defend it. So, 23 minutes and a half, I think that's all. Oh, sorry, I'm manspreading. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something and you get yourself together. Be courageous, be brave, be intelligent, Be patient, don't overreact to things, but no, this is a war they started on us, that they brought to our shores, and it's a war that if we lose, our children will suffer. So let's make sure we don't lose. That's all for now. God bless you all. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.